I want to bring in Alberto Gonzales, former U.S. Attorney General under President George W. Bush. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start at the beginning. Did Director Comey make a mistake?
Well, you know, it's certainly unusual, and I think we've all heard the term unprecedented used an unprecedented number of times, quite honestly. You know, typically you don't talk about an investigation and where you are in an investigation. Of course, that protocol was breached this summer when Director Comey gave his press conference. And granted, these are very unusual circumstances. We're talking about a presidential nominee, but I mean, candidate. But again, the fact that you talk about an investigation raises additional complexities here, because now, of course, the Clinton campaign is saying, well, you need to divulge more information about what this letter is all about. But of course, divulging more information may in fact compromise the investigation, and so that's the box that the director finds himself in this morning.
Unusual, but was it wrong?
I don't know whether it was wrong, because I don't know all the facts. We don't know all the facts. You know, again, the FBI is engaged in an investigation, and the question is whether or not this disclosure, does it compromise the investigation? Does disclosing additional information compromise the investigation? I don't know. I'm assuming the investigation will go on, and at some point we'll know more about that investigation. But, you know, without knowing more information, I don't know if I can definitively say that it was wrong. It was probably inconsistent with protocol, and so in that sense, you have to question the decision. The protocols are put in place for a reason. It ensures more consistent decision-making. It ensures that you take politics out of the decision-making. And so in that sense, you'd have to question this decision.
Harry Reid said that Comey broke the Hatch Act, which is specifically designed to keep the FBI out of politics. He wrote, "Your highly selective approach to publicizing information along with your timing was intended for the success or failure of a partisan candidate." Do you think Comey violated the Hatch Act?
I don't believe so, based on what I know. You know, the Hatch Act was intended primarily to prohibit government employees from actively campaigning for a candidate, to prohibit government employees from spending government resources on behalf of a political candidate. And so, you know, I find that, I think that would be sort of a stretch to say that, in fact, this was intended by the FBI director to influence this election. I'm not sure that the evidence is there to support that allegation.
You know, we keep saying unusual, we hear the word unprecedented, but it's unprecedented on all sides. You know, many are asking, where's Loretta Lynch in all of this? And has she sort of disqualified herself from weighing in? Because take us back to her 45-minute meeting on a plane privately with Bill Clinton.
It is one of the more puzzling aspects of this entire episode, because the FBI director is supposed to gather the evidence and present it to the prosecutors, the Attorney General, and the Attorney General is historically and by authority supposed to make the decision as to whether or not to move forward with the prosecution. Now, I'm told that Mrs. Lynch, the Attorney General, recused herself. I'm not sure there was an official recusal or not. If there was an official recusal, then quite frankly, she should not be having any conversations with the FBI director about what he should do in connection with this investigation. And if she did officially recuse herself, if she did not officially recuse herself, I have to question, where is she? Because typically, when you talk about an investigation, you have the FBI director standing shoulder to shoulder with the Attorney General, talking about the evidence, and at the conclusion of the decision by the Department of Justice, talking about the evidence and having the Attorney General say, based upon this information, we've made the determination that there's not enough evidence here to support moving forward with the prosecution. So there's her absence in all of this is very, very unusual in my judgment.
Would you have sent a letter like this? Based on what it appears Director Comey's goal was, it's to be more transparent. But given the vagueness of that letter, we kind of got just the opposite. So would you put a letter like this out?
Yeah, of course, it's always easy in hindsight, to second-guess someone, but certainly in hindsight, it appears that did not help the situation at all. Quite frankly, it muddled the situation, and obviously it puts at risk this election. Some voters are going to be making a decision on Election Day and in early voting about which way they're going to go based upon this very incomplete letter that really doesn't say anything other than there is a continuing investigation that may implicate Secretary Clinton.
Before we go, and we have very little time left, there is some speculation out there that this could be Anthony Weiner trying to deal for himself, trying to potentially plead things down. We know he's under an investigation for a completely separate issue. And could this be Anthony Weiner saying, you know what, you guys think you've got me, maybe I've got something for you? Could this be Anthony Weiner-led?
Well, I suppose anything is possible in this political season, and obviously there's been some extraordinary turn of events in connection with this investigation. So, again, without knowing all the facts here, I suppose that's possible. I wouldn't rule anything out at this juncture.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.